Welcome to Unfiltered. Wow, what a week. A lot of meetings last week. High school graduation last week. Let me tell you, one of our best. Went smooth. Everything was beautiful, wonderful day, all except for the breeze. We started with a pipe and drape background, which is some poles going up, pole going across, black drape hanging behind the stage. The wind kept blowing it over. So we ended up going without it, thinking huge problems as far as from a filming aspect, because the stage and the podium, if any of you have been out to Alumni Field during a game at 6 o'clock at night, was in the shade. The outfield, the fence, the football stadium, the entire background was completely bright, beautiful sunshine, which makes it hard to get a good exposure that's well balanced. But got back, we looked at the footage Monday morning, and beautiful. What a great graduation. I will have to say the end of the graduation was a little weird. It seemed like the cue for everybody to throw their hats was kind of not there. So the hat toss wasn't as, I think they call them hats, I don't know. The caps, I guess the caps, the little flat frisbee square things that can kill people. I've seen them thrown better in past years. Anyway, great graduation day. Because it was such a long day, and the fact that Saturday was kind of, face it wasn't very nice out Saturday. I decided to stay home, rest on Saturday. I took off Saturday night, head to the coast, went up to Nubble Light, was going to get some sunrise pictures in the morning. When the alarm went off at 3 o'clock, it was foggy as hell. The fog had rolled in. So I decided, well, no sense in you can't shoot a sunrise in dense fog. So I shot down the coast, figured my next choice for sunrises is down in a place that I haven't been for a sunrise in a long time, was Sandy Point State Reservation on Plum Island in Newburyport. So I shot down there, and the problem with that place is the gate doesn't open until 5 o'clock. Sunrise on Saturday was about 5:20 or so in that area. Well, the Sandy Point Reservation, the beach that I shoot sunrise from, is 7 miles from the gate down through this wildlife refuge. And the speed limit is 25. So, being the first in line at 5 o'clock in the morning, the gates opened, boom, off I go. I might have gone a little faster than 25 at times. I might have gone double that at times. Go ahead, send this to Mass. They can come extradite me or whatever. Anyway, I got down there by the time I got to the beach, the sun had just come up across the horizon. But I got some good shots anyway, and got some wildlife shots. And it was such a beautiful, peaceful Sunday morning, and I was loving it. Not a care in the world. And then I stopped at the diner for breakfast, and they had the TV on, and the great day ruined. The news had broke that, the shooting in Orlando had happened, and every station was covering it. All my great shows that I like to listen to on the road on NPR, they weren't on because they were covering this whole shooting incident, and it was up in the air. It's terrorism. It's a hate crime because it's a gay club. And then all this information's coming out. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it because it's still ongoing investigation, and it will be for a long time. For one thing, the perpetrator is dead. So no matter how much investigating you do, you may never find the exact reasons why this guy did this. There was talk that he had called 911 and claimed allegiance to ISIS just before the attack. His father, who the news media is reporting has a pro-Taliban TV show. He's probably Orlando's version of me or something, railing against the government and shit. But he said his son was upset during a recent trip to Miami where he saw two guys kiss. And then that set him off. Come to find out, I heard this morning on the radio that now they're saying that the shooter was a regular patron at the club and he was gay. I don't know. Here's the facts. There's altogether too many guns getting into the hands of the wrong people. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to find out with the number of guns in this country that they're easy to get, apparently, for somebody who is so inclined. Now they say the shooter had 2 previous run-ins with the FBI with suspected terrorist type stuff. And they didn't have somebody on this guy all the time? They couldn't have pulled, one guy from the Middle East out of the Marines or something and told to follow this guy because he could be a terrorist? Maybe it's a lone wolf. Maybe he got, I don't know. Maybe they overcharged him for a drink. Snap. Boom, boom, boom. The problem is, this dude had a weapon that was capable of killing lots of people in a short amount of time. I'm all for owning guns. I grew up in New Hampshire. People owned guns, people hunted. There weren't many shootings. People respected guns when I was a kid. Or I was taught to respect guns. I don't know, I can't speak for everybody because I'm sure that people were getting shot back in the 60s and 70s and 50s and 40s and 30s and 20s and the 1800s. People were getting shot. In the 1700s, people were getting shot. Everybody screams about the Second Amendment. You can't take away the Second Amendment. You can't take away our right to own guns. If the Second Amendment were not in the Constitution, we would still be able to own guns. Anything that's not in the Constitution is covered under the 9th Amendment. Look it up. The 9th Amendment says that anything written in the Constitution cannot take away rights previously held by the original settlers of this country. and the previous settlers of this country owned guns. I know I'm kind of this, you folks look at me as like this right-wing freak, conservative, guns and God above everything, but I'm not sure I really believe in God. And as far as the guns thing go, sure, maybe we should be able to own guns, but maybe if you want to own a gun, you have to own a flintlock or a musket. The Constitution gives us the right to own guns. It doesn't give us the right to own any special type of guns. It just says guns. So they could say, everybody, you can own a gun, but it has to be a single shot gun. If it took you 2 minutes to reload your gun, 50 people wouldn't be getting killed in nightclubs. There wouldn't be mass shootings. Because if it took you 2 minutes to reload your gun, somebody could beat the snot out of you with a stick in the time it took you to reload. That's all I'm saying. There's no need for anybody but the military to have automatic weapons. Plain and simple. And even semi-automatics with high-capacity magazines. High-capacity magazines should be discontinued. You don't need to load up 50 shots for a bunny hunt. One shot. And if you can't kill something with one shot, you shouldn't be hunting. All right, anyway. Horrible news. And apparently there were, you can find people that were at the nightclub, victims that were from the area. There were a couple from Western Massachusetts that were down there. I haven't heard if there were any with ties to New Hampshire yet. But it's just a sad thing, and it's uncalled for. People, I don't have the answers because, on the one hand, yes, freedom of religion is what this country was made on. That's the reason we came to this country in the first place, was so that we wouldn't be persecuted for having different religious viewpoints from England. On the other hand, if you've got a religion that says our goal is to kill every other religion, now where do you stand? Do you stand on freedom of religion, or do you stand on not being killed for what you believe in? I don't, and the whole piece about the government and the politicians and the fact that we have become so politically correct and sensitive to everybody's feelings that they don't even mention that this could be a religious type of terrorist event. They'll look for every other reason. Oh, the guy hated gays. Oh, the guy, he was soothed by the sound of gunfire. Or, his friggin' mother was horrible to him when he was a little kid. They'll look for every stupid little reason like that instead of saying, look, This guy read his Bible and interpreted it to say to kill Americans and gay people, and he did. We have to stand up and take back our damn country. I mean, if anybody suspected this guy of anything, they couldn't say anything, because you hear all the time about, oh yeah, well, we kind of had a feeling he was a bad guy, but we didn't want to say anything because we didn't want to be labeled racist. Or we didn't want to be labeled, whatever, anti-Muslim. Hey, you know what I am? I'm anti anybody that hurts anybody else. I don't give a crap whether you're Muslim or Christian or Catholic or Protestant or Jewish or any number of the thousands of religions that are in this world right now. I don't care if you're white or black or Chinese. Actions are what matter. And actions are what you're judged on. By me. And that's the way everybody should look at things. I say, yeah, I hate Obama. Oh, you're a racist. No, I'm not. He's a bad president. That's why I hate him. Because my life isn't any better than it was before he came along. And if my life is better, it's only because I've made it better, not him. As a matter of fact, I used to go years without going to the doctor, which meant my health care cost nothing. Obama came in, put Obamacare in. Now guess what? It costs me at least $600 a year because I don't have insurance. I don't buy into that whole, here, let's pay somebody else so that they can pay for my medical bills. If I get a medical bill, I'll pay it. If I have to make a payment plan, I'll pay it. God. Let me get, wow, time's ticking away fast. I wasn't going to talk this much about the whole thing, but it drives me nuts. And people wonder how we can stop it. You can't. You can't stop it. You can't protect yourself from it. I've been saying this all along since the time Unfiltered started back in 2006, 2008, whenever Unfiltered first started. The fact that in America, we have just been shielded from horrible things happening in our country. In the 70s, there were plenty of clubs and discos getting bombed and blown up in Germany by terrorists. Yeah, terrorists attack places where there aren't any protections. You could be walking through Hannaford's or Walmart or any place you ever are. It could happen like that. The same way as if you're driving down the street, there is no protection for somebody that just plows into your car. You can't see it coming, you can never tell. Anyway, let me get to some Facebook stuff because I did have, one comment on the Memorial Day show where I was talking about war and death and killing and all that stuff. And Mark posted a little meme with a picture of a battleship firing a cruise missile, and it says, "Don't worry, Syria, democracy is on its way." And he posted a quote from Nathan Bedford Forrest that says, "War means fighting, and fighting means killing." Again, it brings you back to my point that I've been making forever, that if you don't have the stomach for the gruesome atrocities of war, then don't fight wars. Don't get into wars. America could be like Switzerland, I must say. Excuse me. All right. Get to some Yahoo news I thought was pretty funny, and this, this is the kind of stuff that worries me, being a guy that goes to the coast and takes pictures. For one thing, I always wonder when I'm crawling down on the rocks near the surf and stuff, taking pictures, if maybe I should wear a life preserver. And after reading this, just maybe. From Jersey City, New Jersey, a man getting ready to watch the sunrise on a piece of plywood in a marina was swept out by the Hudson River current and wound up about 2 nautical miles away near Governor's Island. On a piece of plywood. That's crazy stuff. What else? There was a couple other ones. Yeah. There you go. A woman of Chester, Virginia, was hit when a strong gust of wind tossed the anchored umbrella across the sand on Wednesday afternoon, Virginia Beach police said in a statement. So apparently, she was killed. Headline is Wind-Tossed Beach Umbrella Kills Virginia Woman. Yeah. Those umbrellas, they put points on them. We've banned the lawn dart because apparently somebody died in a freak lawn dart accident at some point. But these beach umbrellas, off they go. Yeah, they just stick right through you in a heartbeat. It's weird. It's an Ohio woman who is a prisoner in her own home because there has been a deer that has been attacking her near her home. Yeah. Never heard of that. Here we go. For those of you folks that don't think that Trump can get elected because he's some of the things he's done. Where is this from? Santa Ana, California. A judge who was censured for having sex with 2 women in his chambers has handily won re-election in Orange County. I can see that. As a new reality show. Judges of Orange County. And all the crazy stuff they do. Yeah. So. Walworth, New York. It's a sad piece of news. A room of pot goes up in smoke in a fire at a home on High Street in Walworth, New York. That's too bad. I bet it was fun for the firemen to put that out, though. New York City moves forward with plan for deer vasectomies. Again, apparently there's a population of deer on Staten Island, and instead of just open it up for hunters, let's just give them all vasectomies. Crazy. Multi-vehicle crash in Southern California on a Southern California highway left the highway covered with onions. God. Man spends the night. A man suspected of stealing candy, energy drinks, and razors from a Massachusetts pharmacy didn't have to break in. Says he spent the night in the pharmacy. Anyway, Newspaper publisher, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. All right. I'm just down to a couple minutes now, so what else was there? In the town, in the town that I live in, where I guess they're getting ready to hold on to the contest for the naming of the North Bridge, which is a bike trail bridge that I don't think anybody ever uses. That was a huge waste of money. And it's called the North Bridge, and somebody wants to rename it the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Bridge. You know, I don't know. It's dumb. About 8,000 Americans are injured each year by musical instruments. So watch yourself. Yeah. The French language has 17 different words for surrender. And here's a great fact, in case you ever go to Antarctica. Nearly 3% of the ice in Antarctic glaciers is penguin urine. 3%. Yeah. There's something I didn't know. Hewlett-Packard computer manufacturers. The name was decided in a coin toss. Apparently it was going to be Hewlett-Packard or Packard-Hewlett. And coin toss solved that. It snowed in the Sahara Desert for 30 minutes on 18 February 1979. And every human being spent about half an hour as a single cell. Here's a good one. My time is up. If you watch on Facebook, share me with your friends. I'm a great conversation starter. If you watch on YouTube, somewhere down there, up there, somewhere, you'll find a button that says subscribe. Push that subscribe button, you'll get every episode I make. I'll leave you with this, if I can find it again. If you leave everything to the last minute, it will only take a minute. Till next time, I'm Rick Blood. This is Unfiltered. Peace.